Hey guys, Tisha here. Welcome back to another Sister Wives Season 5 review. I'm letting you all know now, I left some stuff out and I'm going to add some stuff in because, as usual, certain things just are a little repetitive, but it was still a decent episode because there are some parts that I cannot wait to get to. So, we begin the episode hearing about the past and how the plural families had to be hidden because they did things like what was done to Christine's grandfather, where the family was separated and people were arrested. I know that it is very much important for the Browns as well as other polygamous families to stay together, but I do not think that if they have been prosecuted, that things would have been handled in the same manner as it was back then. What happened to Christine's parents was grandparents actually was generations before now, and they weren't the only polygamous families that came out on the show. Like, we saw other polygamous families on the show and nothing happened to them. So to act like they did something by moving and saving their family, I'm just not buying it, but I get what they're saying. Kody says that Christine, Meri, and Robin grew up where a father would not publicly address his children or be involved with them because they risked job loss or public ridicule. Robin did not grow up, in my opinion, in the same type of dynamic as the other two wives. So I don't know why Kody included her, but he insists on including her in that. We know that Robin grew up in a whole nother state with her mother and her stepfather. So to act like she had to be hidden, I don't think Robin was hidden. Robin a lot of times tries to make things seem like they were worse than they are. The fact that this man, who is not your biological father, at some point you had his last name, lets me know that you weren't hidden. Kody lets us know that they were private in the beginning, but he always wanted to make sure that he identified his children as his children, that they made sure that they worked and functioned as a family, that he didn't hide anything. And that got me to wondering if Kody's names are on all of the birth certificates, because he's telling us they didn't hide anything, but there were some things that they were afraid of, because I remember that was one of the reasons why a lot of them had home births. And that Christine, one of the reasons why she decided to go ahead and have her next birth in the hospital was because of that really bad miscarriage that she went through. So I just wonder if he's on all of his children's birth certificates. Kody says that a lot of times with polygamous families, they have social and economic repercussions. Duh. I mean, that's a lot of mouths to feed, and people are going to wonder how you go about doing that if it's something that they as taxpayers pay for. I mean, it just comes with the territory, I'm sure. That's the end of that segment. We then see the adults head to the parent-teacher conferences for the high schoolers. For some reason, all 5 adults are going to go to each child's class to talk to the teachers for kids that aren't even theirs. If they go all this time without seeing each other, if they live on different blocks, if we keep hearing about how the family isn't seeing each other as much and meeting up with each other as much, was it really necessary for all 5 of them to go see the teachers as a family, especially when you have people like Robin who don't have any high school students at this point? I felt like they did this for a show, and I'll go into it a little further detail as we continue. They are excited to talk about how they've never had 5 parents for 1 kid. Like, they keep saying about how this is going to be so different for the teachers because I know they've never seen this many moms and a dad, and it's going to be like a big deal for them. And I'm sitting there like, they don't even call the other mother's mom. They call them by their names. So do they really consider them to be a parent? Guess what? At some point as a child, I had 2 moms my father and my stepfather come to my events. At no point were my teachers concerned about that. All they would say was, which child are you here for? That was it. I feel like a lot of times they make everything about polygamy, and I get that this show is, centered around a polygamous family, but we don't need you to state the obvious. Meri says that going with all of them makes her hesitant because despite them coming out and being public, she still wonders what people think. I would be a little hesitant too, because a lot of people don't watch the show. A lot of people back then especially didn't watch the show maybe, and they didn't even know who they were. So I can see how she would be hesitant. So they want us to think that all the parents are supposed to be involved, which is why we see all of them going to these classes. But you have Kody and Robin asking questions that they should know the answers to, especially Kody, because he is indeed the father of all of these children. Let me give you two examples. So they were talking to the Spanish teacher, and the Spanish teacher mentioned what Leon's name was and what Maddie's name was. And you can tell which parents were involved because they didn't have any questions or look confused. Example, Christine didn't look confused to me, even though she didn't say much. Meri didn't look confused because she knew exactly what she was talking about. And so did Janelle. When she said that they have other names that they go by, that Leon goes by Amarilla, I'm saying it wrong, yellow in Spanish, and Maddie goes by the meaning fox in Spanish, they engaged. They knew exactly what that teacher meant. But Kody was like, oh, really? That's cool. And so, so-and-so did this. And so why don't you know this as a parent? Robin was very surprised by it too. I know Robin didn't know a lot about these kids, no matter how they tried to push it. Then we have when they went to go see Aspen's teacher. I think it was her physical education teacher. And Christine was very aware that Aspen had been missing classes, but Kody wasn't. Now the teacher fixed it by saying that she made up everything and she has an A in this class, but Kody was unaware. We then find out that Christine allows Aspen to miss school sometimes. As we're hearing this, you can see Kody shaking his head in disappointment. Meri points out how she has a problem with Christine allowing Aspen to do that, because what happens is Leon will ask if they can miss school, and when Meri says no, Leon says things like, that's not fair. Christine allows for Aspen to miss school. And Meri has to say, I don't care what Christine does. You're going to school. So y'all are supposed to be this united family. But even as early as this season, which is season 5, there were different rules for each household. There were different rules for each child. Maybe that's why there were different rules by the time we hit the pandemic. Christine, I can't say what she shouldn't do. In my household, you're not missing school like that. I know that last year I allowed my child to miss school, and he texted me and he was like, because I leave out before him, and he was like, Mom, if it's all right with you, can I miss school today? I'm caught up on everything. I just really need a mental health day. And I said, email your teachers, find out what work you need to do, and that's okay. And it's not something that I would do often, but my child said he needed a mental health day, and I gave it to him. But Christine just not letting her child go because she just doesn't want to go, I could see how that would cause problems. Overall, all the teachers were engaging to the parents, and they didn't question them about them being wives and how many parents they were and all these other things, because they really don't care. The wives and Kody were the one that kept bringing up how it's 5 of them and how there's 17 siblings, and that's why the children are able to cope with all the different, groups of people and all this other stuff. And it wasn't a big deal to the teachers. That's the end of that. We then go to Meri. Meri is at the house, and we find out that Meri gets an email from Mona letting her know that there's a problem with what she wants for her house because she cannot have a hobby room and a pantry off the kitchen without having a fifth bedroom. Meri lets us know that she wants a wet bar and she wants all the fixing. So she has to have that hobby room, she has to have that pantry, and she has to have that wet bar. I still agree with Janelle that Meri does not need all of that house. I don't care if Meri says things like what she said in this episode where she wants it to entertain. You were entertaining before in a smaller setting, so it would have been fine for you to continue to entertain in a smaller setting. It's just too much. We hear again about how they've decided that the only fair thing to do is to have an equal budget for each house. And I don't think that's fair because the other wives are going to have to sacrifice for Meri to have what she wants, no matter how they try and spin it. And it's not fair. Janelle has to share her money that she makes with the other wives, no matter how you try to spin it, even if she's working harder than the other wives. Meri is allowed to have certain things in her home, even though it's just her, her child, and Kody, no matter how she tries to spin it about wanting to entertain. There's no way that they're going to make me feel like Meri deserved to have all that house. I just no longer feel that way. In the beginning, years ago, I may have felt bad for her because, oh yeah, she deserves to have a house. She doesn't deserve to have that big of a house. I do not feel that way. In present time, no. They all meet with the builders, and Robin lets us know that she's giving them credit for not batting an eye about being a plural family. As she's saying this, I was like, girl, we are talking about 4 guaranteed homes. They do not care what you have going on. They just want your money. They'll talk about them after they leave or after they receive that check. And as I was typing it, Kody said the same thing, something similar. Like, if they're building 4 homes, they don't care about any of that. They care about the money. So we find out that one of the reasons why they were telling Meri that she would have to add another room and all that other stuff is because when they designed the homes, they gave them set plans. And what Meri is requiring, they don't have a plan for that. They would have to create a plan for that design. Meri talks again about how she wants space for the other children, and that's part of the reason why she wants this plan. A wet bar has nothing to do with all of that, but this is Meri's story and she's going to stick to it. And my question is one of the reasons why Meri wants space is because they're spending the night? Because I don't recall throughout the season seeing a lot of them spending the night over Meri's. Meri says she knows that it frustrates the family about her getting this bigger house. She doesn't need the room and she just doesn't want to be judged for it. So you say it frustrates them. You say you don't need it, but you still want it. As I said last review, Meri is selfish. We then find out from the builders that once they get their decisions in and it gets approved by them, it will take 5 months to build the homes. That's good for 4 homes. That's the end of that. It's graduation day. And we see Logan getting ready. We find out that the family just got back from a 1.5-week road trip. I don't understand how they managed to have a 1.5-week road trip with this kid still being in school. It's obvious that they don't care about them missing days, or maybe the school system isn't like how it is here. Here, if you miss more than 10 days, you have an automatic failure. And that's not 10 days for the year. That's 10 days in the semester. Janelle gets a text from Kody, and he's complaining that she didn't tell everybody what the plan is for graduation day. Janelle could have easily sent out a mass text message with all of the plans, but since she didn't, I don't understand why Kody couldn't do it if he felt that she dropped the ball. If you didn't see a message from her, why didn't you just text her and say, hey, hun, can you send out a message to everyone letting them know the plans? Or I'll go ahead and send out that message. He tells her nobody knows what time this thing is. You need to be expressing it to everybody so we know what to do. So this is the same family that wants us to believe that they all needed to see the teacher because they're all so involved. But you don't know a simple thing like when graduation is, what time it is. It's all an act. That whole segment was for filming. I don't think that that's something they've done in the past, because even with them meeting all of them as parents, we know that at this point, this isn't the kids have already been there for half a semester. This is a new school year. So you shouldn't have to be shocked and bewildered because the teachers are accepting you. You should have already met all these teachers and done all of this before, but you didn't do it to the extent that you're doing it now, where you're putting on a show for the television. It's an act. According to Robin, Janelle told her that the ceremony would be 4 to 5 hours long, and it would be loud for Solomon. So she didn't even think that she needed to be there when it first started. So Robin says, based on that, I decided that I'm going to be late on purpose. I started smiling when Robin was talking, because I haven't even been to a college graduation that lasted 4 to 5 hours. Did Janelle just not want Robin to come? That'd be really messed up if that's how she went about doing it. But I saw some stuff later on with Janelle that I was like, I think Janelle didn't want Robin to come. We then get into a discussion. Kody lets his girls know that sometimes they show parts of their body that a father should never see, and he gets offended. And this all becomes because Maddie comes down with a short dress on, and she's shown in the clip by her mom telling her that your father's not going to like it. So Kody says, that there's just certain things that a father shouldn't see. It was so cringy to me, because why are you looking at your child like that? I get it. It's skin. We find out that they can't show cleavage, midriff, have on tank tops, or have their butts hanging out, and that they don't agree with it sometimes, and as a result, they don't listen. Aspen says that she just feels like sometimes it's not that serious, and that's the end of the talk about the clothing. According to Janelle, there are over 3,800 students that attend the high school there in Vegas. And I wish rather than saying how many students attend the school, she talked about how many students were graduating, because she was trying to say that that's the reason why they're having it at the college auditorium, because it's a bigger space. Well, gymnasium, I guess, because it's a bigger space for an event. I feel like a lot of places do that. I know out here, a lot of the high schools use the college chartway arenas and all that other stuff. And I know when I went to school at VCU in Richmond, we used the Siegel Center to do ours, and a lot of the high school students did that out there. So yeah, that's just what people do. It's not nothing new anywhere. I guess they don't do that in Utah. As they're preparing to enter, Meri forgets her camera, and Robin is going to bring it for Meri because Meri calls her and lets her know. So Robin leaves even earlier than she was planning to, I guess, so she could bring this camera. Kody talks about how this moment is very important because all 4 of the mothers had a part in Logan's life and getting him to this place now. He then gives Christine credit and says Christine had a huge influence on his life. So Christine was a good sister wife. See, Kody forgets that we remember some of these things. And I very much so remember that all the kids, that's the reason why everything that the kids do revolve around Christine, because Christine was a good mom to them. Robin has been a part of this family for a little over 2 years, and I'm supposed to believe that Robin should get credit for Logan being who he is. Not saying that Robin didn't do anything, not saying that you can't have a significant role in someone's life in 2 years. I've seen it all the time. Look at educators, how quickly children fall in love or like their teachers because their teachers are showing love and care. But I don't think he was around Robin daily for there to even be that type of thing where she would have had such a strong influence on him. But Kody's gonna give his boo all her credit. So the ceremony starts and Kody keeps looking for Robin. He even is like looking at his phone like, what time, Meri, did she say that she was leaving? And she was like, she told me at 9:30 that she was on her way. Meri tells him to stop worrying about that and be here with Logan. Robin gets lost, going to the same graduation that everybody else in the city was able to find. Christine says that she didn't know that Robin had planned on being late, and Robin sits there with her mouth open. And this is where the confusion comes in for me, because Janelle sat there like she was dumbfounded, like she didn't tell Robin to be late. And Robin didn't say in that clip to Christine that Janelle said I should be late. So did she or didn't she tell Robin to be late? Robin's a liar, you guys. So tell me in the comments, what do you think? Do you think that Janelle told her to be late, or do you think that this is on Robin? Because I wouldn't have never thought that a graduation would take 4 to 5 hours. But the way that Janelle was responding without responding and just being like, I just don't know. So, despite it being close to his son's name being called, because they were about to start calling names, and we know that his last name is B for Brown, Kody takes this moment to get up from his seat and try to find Robin in this huge arena. Janelle did not want Kody to leave because she didn't want him to miss it, but he risked it anyways, and he got up and he went looking for her. And of course, he didn't find her. He came back in time, but without Robin. They call his name, and Janelle's dumbtail didn't even capture the footage because she was too busy messing with her phone to try to turn her phone on to record it, that she didn't hear his name being called, and she didn't capture the moment. She was very distraught about this. And I'm sitting there like, 1, 2, 3, Maddie's 4. I'm sure that you all have a whole bunch of cameras. We weren't even at this event, Janelle, and we're seeing it unfold. Ask TLC for the footage. One of the great things about having a network that's walking around recording you is you have a lifetime of memories that have been captured on film, both good and bad. Say, can I please have that? Thank you. Janelle is crying. She's emotional. Kody says he doesn't know if she's crying because she missed it or she's crying because of how emotional she is about him graduating. I think it was more so about him graduating, because one of the things that she said was, this is our first child that's graduating. I'm very proud of him. He's an honor student, all these other things. He's done well. 10 to 15 minutes after his name has been called, Robin comes in. She missed it. As she sat down, Christine says we could feel her anger. Kody says it was like a wet blanket going over the fire. And she was sitting there and she started crying. And she says she just loves him so much. I got annoyed with all of these parents because at some point they all made it about themselves in their own way. Even Kody, like, your son is graduating. Why are you at Robin's house? Why aren't you at Janelle's house, like helping him and watching him get ready for graduation, like taking pictures of him getting ready to put on his cap and gown and things of that nature? It just was weird to me. The energy fell off for the entire family. They then talk about the different things that they want to do. And Logan says that he wants to graduate from college. He wants to have some type of job in the medical or like helps field because he wants to help people. He wants to have a home and he wants to have one wife. So that's Logan's way of letting us know he's not planning on being a polygamist. All right. We then have Meri, who is heading to her sister's house, her sister named Elaine, to talk to her about fertility issues because her sister struggled with them as well. And at this point, I'm over the fertility talk, you guys. I just have to be honest. I'm over it because we know nothing's going to come of it. And even when all of this was going on, I knew nothing was going to come of it. It's important, but I know that this isn't something that Meri wants to do. She said as early as season 1, when Kody first presented it, that she had come to the conclusion that she was okay with not having any more children. And she told him that when they were in Hawaii for that anniversary trip. So why are we still talking about this? As Meri's asking her sister questions, her sister says, you know, yes, it's been a long time since I've had a child. But despite that amount of time, it's like getting on a horse. It all came back to me. They talk about different things. And her sister says to her, look, Meri, I just feel like you don't have the same desire for this as you used to. This is coming from her sister, who is 5 years younger than her, who is not married to her, who does not lay in a bed with her, who does not see her as much as some of her other family does. And her sister understands that Meri does not desire this the way that she used to. Why is it that her husband, who she lays in a bed with every 4th night, doesn't realize that this is not something that his wife wants? Bottom line is, Meri only wants to give it a try because of Kody and because of Leon. And you cannot tell me otherwise, because the way that this whole thing played out, I was like, okay, now come on. It's just annoying. Kody says that Meri's indecisiveness troubles him and his decisiveness, because he knows what he wants, and because she keeps going back and forth, it just makes him wonder if this is what he wants. He gets so frustrated with her, he says, asking all these different people what their opinions are. Wait a second. Didn't we see him, I don't remember if it was last episode or the episode before that, suggest to Meri to talk to her sister about it? So you get frustrated with her about talking to different people about it, but you told her to talk to other people about it. This is some of the foolishness that Kody does, where Kody says one thing, does another, and then acts like he doesn't know what somebody's talking about. Prime example here. He says, decide for you. Either way, I'm gonna have more kids. Either way, whatever you do, whether you decide that you're gonna have some or not, I'm gonna have some more, and they're gonna be with Robin. Just digging in a little bit, further, Kody. See, Kody knows what to say to get a reaction, but then he tries to act like he didn't say anything. You tell your wife who's struggling, who keeps having to go back and forth with you about whether or not she's going to have this child. You tell her, I don't care, basically, I'm paraphrasing, I don't care if you have children or not. Because regardless if you have children, I'm going to have more. I'm working. My swimmers are swimming. You're the one who's, it's going to say harsh, but this is how I'm taking it from Kody. You're the one who's barren. You're the one who they want to test to see what's going on. They don't want to test me. I was told by a fertility doctor that it's obvious that I'm okay because of all the children that I have. It's your womb that's struggling. So hurry up and decide what you want to do. If you feel like you can have more kids, Kody, then leave her the F alone. Leave her alone. Because does it make sense for him to be pressuring her if he knows that he's going to have more kids with precious Robin? If you know you're going to have more children with the bird, then have children with the bird. Stop bothering Meri. Stop pestering her about this. He says he's closing the deal. So is it a yes or a no? Meri says, I don't know. I don't know. Kody, I think about it every day, Kody. I think about it every day. It bothers me. You just don't know how much it bothers me. But I will do my very best to tell you. Can we say by the end of the year, Kody? Is it all right if we decide by the end of the year what we're gonna do? He says, all right. I'm giving you until we move in, because we got a lot of stuff going on with these houses. I'm going to give you until we move into our houses. And the month that we move into our houses, I want to answer. He says, I know this is hard for you, but I need to answer. As she sits there and she's crying. Kody don't care about Meri. And Kody didn't care about Meri in this situation, because Kody created this issue with the two of them because Meri had finally got to the point where she was okay with not having children. And Robin created it too. Best believe him and his bird talked about it. The both of them decided, yeah, we're going to see. We're going to mess with Meri a little bit. Let's start getting that wheel spinning. Let's make her think that we're going to do this for her. And then even though we know she's indecisive, even though we know it takes her a long time to make decisions and a long time to adjust to change, we're going to go ahead and let her do this. And then we're going to pull the rug out from her when she finally decides that she wants to do it. And we're going to say, we don't want to do it anymore. Because that's what they did. Y'all let me know what you think down below. Do you guys think, I know I asked another question earlier, I don't even remember what it was, but do you all think that Kody and Robin planned all of this from the beginning? Or do you think that the plan came along later on? Because I think they planned it all along. Like and comment and subscribe. Subscribe. We're almost at that 200 mark. I'm getting excited, people. If you haven't done it yet, what are you waiting on? If you've watched more than two of these and you're still coming back, it's time for you to join the crew, to be a part of the I don't want to say gang because we're not a gang. To be a part of the family. We'll call it that. Anytime I'm up here lifting up, y'all, I watched the playback of that video that I just did. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Season 5, episode 1. And I really legitimately lift up my upper body and showed it. I need you all to know that I had on a bra. I don't want you to think I was over here braless but I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I said, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I really did that. So